Welcome back to The Lead Word. Today is Wednesday, May 15th, 2019. Chad, let's get right into it. Back again. First recording since the NFL draft. How are we doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I had a pretty solid weekend. Actually, not necessarily even a weekend, couple days off, really. My schedule changed for work. I had off on Monday and Sunday. You know, Sunday was Mother's Day, obviously. Did some mothery stuff with my mom. Then Monday, took a final. Went and saw Detective Pikachu. Bought some new shoes. Pretty solid Monday.
Right now, I'm so distracted. There's like 3 things I'm trying to watch while we record. But you know the podcast comes first. I got the Red Sox on, I got the Bruins on, I got the Warriors game on, so it's a lot of shit. It's a good time of year. Baseball, NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. Chad only cares about football, but...
Did you say NHL playoffs?
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's a good place to start. I am so sick and tired of the constant free agency bullshit in the NBA about how, this guy's unhappy where he's playing here. And, you know what? This guy's unhappy where he's playing here. And you know what? We have been talking about where this guy's going to sign, and this guy's going to sign, and this guy's going to sign for 150 days in a row. I can't take it anymore.
Enough is enough!
So you know what? I started boycotting some of the playoff games. He said, you know what? I'm going to really try to get into hockey because I can't take the nonstop free agency talk. I can't listen to it anymore. I can't do it. Come talk to me in July when these guys are actually going to sign. Until then, I cannot hear another word about where Kawhi Leonard's going to sign. And I can't hear another word about where Kevin Durant's going to sign. It's the fucking playoffs. If the playoffs are so fucking boring that we can't even sit here and talk about the playoffs, instead we want to focus on where the fucking guys are going to sign, then what's the point in watching the playoffs? I mean, every year it's going to be, well, you know what? We got to wait 6 months to see where he's going to sign. You know, that's the exciting thing on the streets. What's the point in watching the games? So I've boycotted some of the playoff games. I have really tried to get into hockey. I'm still really clueless. I'm still really behind. I don't know what the f***'s going on half the time.
Help me! Help me!
But I'm trying to get more into hockey because I can't stand the constant free agency bullshit. I can't take it anymore.
Well, the gist is you got to take the puck and put it in the goal. I know that much.
Oh, I know. But, you know, there's some penalty calls. I don't really understand all the rules yet. I'm really behind. The last time I watched hockey was 2002 NHL Hits. Great video game. Got me into hockey. It's a lot different now. You know, you got defensemen looking like speed wonders out there. When I watched like 10 years ago, defensemen were like 300-pound like killers. So now they're just skating around and they're all fast and shit. It's a different game. But no, I'm trying to get back into it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about hockey. Not that I don't like hockey. Like if hockey was on, I might watch it, and I wouldn't be bored. But I just don't know anything about it.
I'm trying to get back into it. Can we start there? Or my first point. I am so sick and tired of listening to where every day these guys, well, maybe he'll sign here. And if they win a playoff game, it was like, this changes his free agency decision. And Kawhi Leonard won in the conference final, so you know what? Maybe he'll stay with Toronto now. I don't want to hear that. I want to talk about the actual games. The actual games. If the playoffs are so boring that after every single game we sit here and say, well, you know what? This could impact where he's going to sign next year. What's the point watching the games? There's no point in watching the games. We might as well just sit home, look at the box score, and say, this team won. Check it back in July, see where he signs, and then not watch the whole season again and see where the next batch of free agents are going to sign. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. Like, let the season be over before you start looking into that kind of stuff. Like, It's one thing if, like, your team is out of it.
Yeah.
Like, if your team is knocked out, okay, cool. You know, then you can maybe like, who can we get in free agency? But, like, if you're a guy on, I just use him because everybody knows him, but, like, if you're on ESPN, and you're sitting there and the Sixers and the Raptors just finish up playing their series, and you're talking about Kawhi Leonard and where he's going in the offseason, what he's going to do with his decision, I think you need to reevaluate, something there.
His team is still playing. Like, I can't listen to it anymore. It's not just like they bring it up once in a while. They bring it up every single fucking day. I have been listening to where Kawhi Leonard is going to sign for 150 days in a row. I can't take it anymore. I can't. And his team's still playing. It's not like his team sucks. His team is still playing, and it's the playoffs, the middle of the playoffs.
That was a real smooth left-handed layup by Kawhi. I wonder if that means he'll sign with Toronto this offseason.
I can't do it anymore. It's outrageous, isn't it? I can't take it. I really can't.
Yeah, it was tough watching that series just because, almost everything. They come back from a commercial break. Is Kawhi coming back to Toronto? They're getting ready to go on a commercial break. Hey, we're going to return to the game after this commercial break, and we'll also talk about Kawhi coming back to Toronto. Oh, Drake is courtside. I wonder if that means Kawhi is coming back to Toronto.
It's outrageous. It really. Could you imagine watching a playoff game, and Aaron Rodgers is in the NFC title game, and they're like, well, you know what? If he loses, he might not re-sign in Green Bay. And then talking about that the whole year. So it'd be outrageous.
I will say this. They'll do that, but it's not like an every game thing. Especially even at the end of even in the playoffs, they might say, Aaron Rodgers, can he win this game? And does that mean he stays in Green Bay? They'll say it one time in the beginning of the game, and that'll be it. And then maybe they'll come back at the end of the game if they win. Oh, the Packers are one step closer to the Super Bowl. If they get there, can Aaron Rodgers come back next year? Yeah, okay. But no, with the Kawhi thing, especially, just watching that playoff series, it was every 2 minutes, it's like they had to remind you he was a free agent.
And the worst part about it is, some guys that get, you can have some kind of a reading on, maybe you can kind of predict what they're going to do. Kawhi Leonard is a fucking weirdo. There is no way anyone knows what that guy's doing. He doesn't speak. There's no way anyone knows what Kawhi Leonard's doing. Listening to him laugh. He is a fucking weirdo.
Is this your game? Huh?
There's no way anyone knows what he's doing. So what's the point in talking about it?
This guy I work with, he has this theory that Kawhi Leonard, he's just a robot, a basketball playing robot. That's all he is.
He's weird.
He was created in a lab just to be a basketball player.
He's weird. There's no way anyone knows what he's doing. He doesn't even have friends. He doesn't speak to people. So how would anyone know, or what would be the point in talking about it?
I don't know if you've ever seen, there's an episode of SpongeBob where they're trying to make the Krusty Krab fancy, and Squidward goes to SpongeBob and he's like, you're a waiter. He gives him a book and he's like, I want you to memorize this book, clear everything else out of your mind, and just be a waiter. And he gives him this book on being a waiter. That's Kawhi Leonard. He doesn't know anything about how to breathe and be a waiter. I bet you Kawhi Leonard couldn't even spell his own name because all he knows how to do is play basketball.
It's just I can't take it anymore. But let's get into the news of the night. NBA draft lottery. The Pelicans win the lottery, Chad. The Grizzlies second pick, Knicks third pick, Lakers fourth pick. Any initial reactions out of you, Chad? Out of the Pelicans of all teams winning the lottery.
I mean, that one came out of left field. Everyone thought it was going to be the Knicks. Everyone. I thought the fix was in. The NBA was ready to put basketball back on the map in New York. They said everything's coming. We're going to get KD in there. We're going to get Kyrie in there maybe, and then we're going to get Zion in New York. And it just warms your soul to see a team like the Pelicans come out of nowhere and just win big like that. The true underdog story, getting the first overall pick in the lottery when everyone thought it was going to the Knicks. But I guess every once in a while the NBA's got to go against what they really want to happen. That way no one really figures out that they rigged the lottery every year. They actually have to do one every once in a while and let it play out like normally.
Yeah, this one was wild. 3 teams jump up into the top 4. This one, of all the teams, I thought, maybe the fix is in. The Knicks will get it. Maybe they're such cocksuckers. They'll let LeBron get the fucking first pick. Like, I thought of so many things. Not one of them did I think, oh, the Pelicans, they'll get it. Not for a second did I think that was going to happen.
Well, how many times were they in the lottery, though? Like how what was their odds going into it?
I think they were number 9, if I'm not mistaken. The 9th best odds, which was like 5 or 4%, something like that.
Yeah, how about that? Beating the odds in New Orleans they are.
Well, the new lottery, everything's so close. Like the number 1 spot's only 14%. It's not outrageous.
Right, yeah, it's not crazy, but still. And like, not to mention, this is coming on a year where Anthony Davis is gone next year. He's not going to be in New Orleans. Yeah,
that was the next thing I wanted to bring up. Of all the things, like, maybe the lottery will impact the Anthony Davis trade, or maybe if the Knicks get number 1, they'll trade it for Davis. Like, oh, Davis's team got number 1. And if I'm the Pelicans, Anthony Davis. Even if he wants to stay now, him. I'm so sick of him. He wants to pout all year and be a puss.
What's the matter? You have a little puss?
Say, that's all, folks, and not playing games and get out of here. I would trade him anyway. Build around Zion, get the best package I get, and have a nice little rebuild here.
Well, I mean, now this puts all the power in the Pelicans' hands.
Hell yeah.
Before, like, let's say they get like the 6th overall pick, right? I mean, you can get a good player at 6. You're not getting Zion.
It looks like a 3-player draft, though.
Yeah, but still, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's not 6 isn't a bad pick. It's not like you're picking 14.
What do you got against 14?
But anyway, so if they're picking, like, let's say they get 10, right, in the lottery. They're sitting there and everyone's like, okay, yeah, we want Anthony Davis, but you don't really have anything for him. You don't have a replacement for Anthony Davis. You get number 1, you take Zion. Anthony Davis walks. You're not really losing anything there. I mean, you want to get something for him still, but
you'll lose something maybe in year 1 or 2 because he's so young. He's only 18. But you won't lose anything long term, probably.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I would, even if Davis wanted to stay, I'd still trade him. I want no part of him. I really don't. I wouldn't want him. Can't sit there and pout like that and request a trade halfway through if you want to request a trade before the year. Not cause all that drama and say, oh, I'm playing with my buddy LeBron and you have to trade me here, and halfway in the middle of the year. What a crybaby.
Well, too, the way he went about it was he announced it to the press, which you're not allowed to do. Like, you can go to the GM and demand a trade, but the way they announced it to the press, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And basically got 0 penalty for it either. Like, I think maybe the league fined him like $15,000 or something like that. I think maybe he got a fine, but that was it.
I just don't understand doing it in the middle of the year. Like, do it before the year. Not in the middle of the year when your team's playing games and then you have to make all these teams scramble and you know that the Celtics can't trade for him legally. So, the Pelicans aren't going to trade him.
Well,
it just made 0 sense.
Another thing about him doing it in the middle of the year is he comes out after the All-Star break and he's like, no, I still want to play.
Yeah, that's funny.
No.
Yeah, no.
You better go park your ass on the bench.
He's clueless. I wouldn't want him. I really wouldn't.
And then when the Pelicans were like, "Yeah, well, we're just gonna scratch you every game," he got the players' union involved, and the players' union were like, "No, you can't do that. You got to play him if he wants to play." And when that happened, I said, you know what? Fine. If he wants to play, I'll give him the bare minimum.
2 minutes a game.
No, you know what? Actually, no. I was like, you know what? If you want to do that, you'll start. You'll play the first 5 minutes of the first half, and then you won't get back in the game for the rest of the game.
You ain't gonna do shit.
That's the bare minimum. So I'm just meeting my requirement for the players' union. Because, one, I'm not going to let you get injured and tank your value. Two, I'm not going to let you win and tank my tanking. That's out. Yeah. That's off the table.
So I guess we can ask, what would you do if you're the Pelicans? What kind of trade package you want for them? Because that's really the interesting thing. Because outside of that, what is there to talk about with the lottery? The Grizzlies are going to take Morant, probably. Trade Mike Conley. Knicks will get the other Duke guy, RJ Barrett. What do you do if you're the Pelicans? What's the trade package you want?
I mean, to be honest with you, I want picks. I want more picks.
All right, so what picks you want?
Well, next year's draft. I'm taking picks for next year.
No players? No young player in the league you want?
I don't know. I guess maybe it depends. I mean, if you're taking Zion, you don't really need a power forward. But
they already have Drew Holiday, so that's a good point guard to have. You probably want a wing player.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all the stuff that went down with the Lakers, there's some beef there maybe, I don't know, between the Lakers front office and the Pelicans front office. But I guess it's still not far-fetched to think that he could end up in L.A.
I don't think that's going to happen. You can't trade for Brandon Ingram after the blood clots. It's too risky. I mean, I'm a Celtics fan. I don't want him. I really don't. But I think that's where he's going to go. I think if they give up Tatum, then I think that's a done deal. But I don't want it to happen.
Trying to think who would need Anthony Davis right now.
I mean, the Knicks could give up number 3 and Kevin Knox, but is that enough?
Yeah, maybe put in another. Guess they could always throw in a pick for next year too.
Yeah, it's about all I can think of. All right, so let's get into the NBA playoffs. You do your Sixers rant. I don't want to intrude.
I don't really have a rant, to be honest with you. At least
you don't
not
have
about
a
the
rant.
Sixers. Not about the Sixers, anyway. I do have this to say. What kind of got on my nerves watching this playoff series was how annoying some of the fan base was. Like, every time they lost the game, it was like, trade Ben, trade Embiid, Brett Brown, get him out of here.
Timeout. That's exactly what I'm saying. We can't enjoy any of the games. Immediately after it's over, it's, oh, well, these guys can't play together. You got to trade one of them. Oh, well, Jimmy Butler's not staying. Oh, well, Tobias Harris, he's worth too much money. You can't keep him. Every single game, it's, oh, well, you know what? You gotta do this. You gotta do that. Can't we just, for one time, enjoy the game?
Well, no. My comment is more about the reaction after the fact.
Okay.
Like, this series was so, like, I feel emotionally drained after watching this series because of how wishy-washy people were when it came to their reactions. Like, so, for example, they're playing the Nets. They lose the first game, and it's like, oh, trade Ben. Get him out of here. He can't shoot. He sucks. Blah, blah, blah. Embiid sucks. Blah, blah, blah. Get him out of here. Then they walk. They walk the rest of the series.
No, not a word then.
Yeah, not a word. Oh, we're going to the championship. We're going to the finals. Blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks ago, you wanted to trade everybody on the team who you're meat riding right now.
But that's my point. The same thing with the Celtics. You're going to sit here and say, you know what, we're better off without Kyrie. We lost the series to the Bucks. Like, no. Like, come on. That's not how it works.
And then you get to the series with Toronto, the first game they drop. And it's like, I sat there and I said, okay, they lost the first game. It's in Toronto. Toronto is a good team. Listening to the radio going into work, you would have thought Philly lost by 100 points at home. I swear to God, I was like, I had to look at my phone. I was like, did they play at home? I thought this was a Toronto series.
It's the NBA, I swear.
And
it's just every single minute is, oh, you got to do this. You got to trade this guy. You know what? We can't bring him. Can't sign him.
But every minute. But then too, it's like I guess people forgot how good Kawhi Leonard is, because it was like they made it seem like they were losing to a team with nobody.
By the way, Toronto gets fucking destroyed if that's DeMar DeRozan instead.
Yeah, probably. I agree. I mean, I don't know what his final numbers are after Game 7, but I think there was a point going into Game 6 where Kawhi Leonard, when he had an open look, was shooting 80% from the field.
Oh, he's disgusting.
And then when he was covered, when he took a contested shot, he was shooting 49%.
You like that? You like that?
Which is better than what Russell Westbrook does any other day.
Like, this guy was shooting contested shots at 49%.
Yeah.
He basically had to flip a coin on a contested shot and heads, that one's going in.
And
heads again, that one's going in.
And he's probably
I missed that one.
He's also probably the best defender in the league too.
Yeah. So you're losing to this guy, and it's like, okay, we lost to a team with Kawhi Leonard. Lowry is no slouch. And then we come back and we win Game 2, and again, complete 180. Oh, we're going to the championship. Ben Simmons, blah blah. Call me Kendall Jenner tonight, Ben, or whichever one he's dating now. I don't remember.
Can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Like I felt emotionally drained after this series, to be honest with you.
That's like, why I'm telling you, you gotta boycott the NBA.
Listening to sports radio on my way to work because I couldn't listen to fan reactions anymore.
Stop watching the NBA and boycott the NHL. Try to get into playoff hockey.
Well, no, here's the thing. I didn't mind what the people on the radio were saying. The radio host, they made a lot of sense. They were doing their thing. It's the fans I couldn't take. I was ready to. It's like I stopped listening. I was like, I can't do it. I really want to listen because I want to hear the opinions of the people that know what they're talking about. But these people calling in and like trade Ben Simmons after one game, I was like, you guys are stupid. Like that, I just can't take it. But I will say this. I'm not down for trading Ben Simmons. I'm not down for trading Embiid. I think you got to bring back.
You're saying you don't want to or do want to?
No, I'm not down with that. I don't want to. So, people saying, I absolutely 100% believe we have to bring back Jimmy Butler. And I don't know how you're going to do it, but you definitely got to bring back Tobias Harris. Now, here's the thing. This team, if you make any changes, which they're not going to do because they've already announced today that they're bringing him back, if anything, what I would be okay with is getting rid of Brett Brown.
He kind of seems like a help.
Well, here's the reason why. I feel like Brett Brown has no control over that locker room. Like zero.
I don't think he knows how to coach.
No, I wouldn't say that. And I'll get into this in just a second. But here's the thing. There were so many games against the Nets, against the Raptors, where Philly just came out and they just looked lethargic. Like they looked like they didn't want to be there. Right? Then there's games they came out and they played like the all-stars that they are. My thing is and that's on coach. That's the coaching. Game 7, for example, perfect analogy of why I blame Brett Brown. 3 possessions before the buzzer beater. Basically three shot clock violations almost. Pretty much.
But that's what I'm saying. Every time they call a timeout, they don't have a good play.
I would say this. Maybe he's bad at drawing up plays. But 3 times, practically a shot clock violation, and then you give up the buzzer beater. That was indicative of their problems with Brett Brown for me. But here's the thing. What I did like about Brett Brown for this series, and a little bit too with the series against the Nets. Brett Brown, he did show an ability to adjust. They come out, they get smoked by the Nets in Game 1, they adjust, and they walk them for the rest of the series. Game 1, they lose in Toronto. Brett Brown comes out and he adjusts, win Game 2, win Game 3, gets smoked in Game 4. Then you lose Game 5, and in Game 6, he realizes that the reason why the offense isn't going is because he took the ball out of Ben Simmons' hands. So he puts the ball back in Ben Simmons' hands. He said, all right, go to work. Ben goes off. So he showed his ability to adjust, and I like that. But I feel like everything else was there's so many mental errors with this team, you can only blame the coach for it.
True discipline come from within.
But here's the problem. Every time I watch the Sixers, I scream at my television and I say, why is Joel Embiid on the 3-point line? 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 He needs to be in the post dominating. That's what he does. He's like a young Hakeem Olajuwon. Nobody is better in the post scoring down low than he is. Why is he not in the box? And the biggest problem is Ben Simmons can't shoot because he also needs to be in the box. Tell Ben Simmons he needs to shoot. He needs to shoot. And Joel Embiid needs to be on the block trying to score, not on the 3-point line.
Do it. Do it!
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not 100% satisfied with what Brett Brown's game plan. I just like that he showed an ability to adjust. One of the best things about Andy Reid from a football side of things is Andy Reid could be down by 48 points at halftime. He goes into halftime, makes his adjustments. They'll come back. They might not win, but they'll at least make it respectable.
Andy Reid is also a coach that will have a different game plan every single week. The Sixers look the same every single game.
It is what it is.
Can I give you my Celtics rant?
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one, I'm sorry, Milwaukee. They are really good. This idea that the Celtics just suck and, it's not the right group and, it's a bad fit and Brad Stevens can't do this and, Kyrie Irving's not... Milwaukee is good. They just are. Giannis is unbelievable. He's by far the best player on the floor. When you have the best player on the floor, you're probably going to win. They're built perfectly around him. They have 1,200 shooters built around Giannis. Mirotic can shoot. Middleton can shoot. Brogdon, Bledsoe, everybody can shoot and defend, and they're built perfectly, and Giannis is unstoppable. And I think, honestly, I truly believe Milwaukee's going to steamroll Toronto. I think they're that good. I think they're going to beat them in 4 or 5 games. And this whole, the Celtics suck thing, it's not going to look nearly as bad when Milwaukee beats the hell out of Toronto. The second thing is, any Celtics fan that sits here and says, oh, well, they're better off without Kyrie, is the dumbest human being I've ever... I can't even wrap my head around that. Because he had one bad playoff series does not mean you get rid of Kyrie. He's their best player. He shoots efficiently from the floor. Maybe he's not the best player in a championship team, but I know that he can be the second best player in a championship team. And, to not want him, that's your solution. That means you need one more guy. You get rid of Kyrie, you're back to square one and rebuilding. And number 2, Terry Rozier. I fucking hate him. I really do. I watched him saw a couple of YouTube clips of him mouthing off on First Take, acting like he sacrificed so much for the team. Give me a break. This guy's a clown. He had the second most touches on the Celtics this year and came off the bench. All he did was jack up shots and take selfish shots because he's a selfish player and he's a prick, and his plus-minus numbers were horrible every time he was on the floor. So Terry Rozier, I can't stand him. Get him away from the team.
Enough is enough!
Oh, speaking of plus-minus numbers, this is something I forgot to go over when I was talking about the Sixers, but it is something that needs to be addressed with anyone who thinks that they need to trade Embiid. How stupid that sounds. So, the series against Toronto, in 237 minutes with Joel Embiid on the floor, the Sixers were plus 90.
Well, it's the health, right? You don't really, the idea of trading Joel Embiid is stupid unless you're saying that you don't think he can be healthy. Right? That's the only thing behind that.
I don't know. Even with that, in 99 minutes without Joel Embiid on the floor. Okay, so you trade Joel Embiid because he can't be healthy. They were minus 111.
Yeah. Well, he's the best.
Yeah, go ahead, trade him. Good luck with that.
He's the best center in the NBA.
Oh, absolutely.
What are Ben Simmons plus minus numbers? Because I bet they're not that good. Do you have those?
I don't know. I don't have those.
Because every time he's on the floor, they don't look nearly as good.
I'm just saying, anyone that says trade Joel Embiid, I just think you're stupid.
The only reasoning behind it would be if you don't think he's going to be healthy. If you're saying, you know what, his knees are shot or everything's wrong with him, his foot's going bad or his back, he's got a problem. Outside of health, there's zero reason to trade him.
I mean, but that's the thing. And for me, it's like, it's not like he's missing like 50% or more of the season. Like, yeah, he misses a bunch of games in the NBA, but everybody misses games in the NBA now. Like, as long as you make the playoffs and you're there for the playoffs, you could miss the whole season, but no one's going to care as long as you play good in the playoffs, which is what Joel Embiid does. Minus a few games against Toronto.
He wasn't there all the games in the playoffs.
All right, well, that's why I said minus a few games against Toronto. And he missed one game against the Nets when they were up like 2-1 in the series.
Yeah.
But then he came back and he helped.
The guy's unbelievable, though.
Won the fourth game in the series.
He's an unbelievable talent.
Oh, but I got to say this to you. I don't care what you say. Yo, the Celtics pretty much got swept.
I'm not disputing that.
They won the first they won the first game, but let's be honest, they got swept.
I'm not disputing that. I'm telling you this right now. I think Milwaukee's going to destroy Toronto. I think after Milwaukee beats the hell out of Toronto, we're going to sit here and say, you know what? The Celtics loss doesn't look that bad.
I don't know. I think you could let Kawhi Leonard guard Giannis. I really think you could.
But that's the problem. You can't. They have so many guys that hit shots. I watched that whole series. They were like Brook Lopez was pulling up for three. He was hand in his face. He's still making shots. They have 800 3-point shooters, and they keep making them.
But that's the thing. All of that flows around Giannis.
Yeah.
So if you can stop Giannis, right? Which, don't get me wrong, it's harder said than done. Yeah, definitely. But if anyone can do it, Kawhi Leonard can, right? A little bit of a height disadvantage, but I think that's about it.
Do you really want to do that, though? You want to get him into foul trouble, maybe?
Well, I mean, you got to play it by ear.
I guess.
Like, it's not like he's going to be in foul trouble every game of the series, all game.
I think Toronto's going to get smoked. I really do. I think best case scenario, it goes 6.
Well, that's not getting smoked, Trey.
I'm saying best case. I think they could easily get swept or go 5 games. I think Milwaukee's actually very good.
Well, it's not that I don't believe Milwaukee's good, but I just don't see that happening. I think it's gonna be a good series like it was against the Sixers.
All right. I honestly believe Milwaukee. After what I saw, Milwaukee's gonna. I honestly don't think the Celtics were that bad. I really think Milwaukee's just that good.
Well, I mean, you certainly biased.
I'm not biased when it comes to all the idiots that think Kyrie should leave. I think all those people are idiots.
Are you ready to move to the West?
Golden State's gonna win. We got anything else?
I don't know. Want to talk? I want to say this because I'm pretty sure Golden State's gonna win too.
Okay.
Can we stop with this narrative that Golden State needs KD to win?
Come on. That's so disrespectful.
To who? KD or the Warriors?
So to Durant. He's the best player in the league by a mile.
Look, I'm not saying KD doesn't bring anything to the table. I'm not saying he's not a great player, but the Warriors don't need KD to win.
To win how far?
Even to win a championship, they don't need KD.
Oh, no.
Look, let me put it to you this way.
They do need him. They don't beat Houston. They don't beat Houston last year without him. That series went 7.
No. Let me say it like this real quick. KD is great. Like I said, having KD makes it real easy for him, right? The Warriors, without KD, they are a great team. They have the potential to win a championship without him. With KD, They are a dynasty. They are a legendary team with KD.
Yes.
To win easy, they need KD. But do they need KD to win? No, they don't need him to win.
It's not a lock, though. It wouldn't be a lock.
No, I'm not saying it's a lock. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying they don't need him to win. Because people are forgetting, this Warriors team won 2 championships without KD. They won 73 games without KD. With basically the roster they have right now, they won 73 games.
They won 1 title without him.
Okay, they won 1. I'm sorry. I thought it was 2.
I think it was 1.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. My point is, their starting lineup was the 3 guys that really mattered: Clay, Steph, and the asshole. I can't remember. Draymond. Yeah, thank you. I was drawing a blank.
Draymond's not the same guy. He's not as good.
I'm not saying he's as good as KD.
No, but I'm saying Draymond 4 years ago and Draymond now is not nearly as good.
Look, my point though is, this team, the same team was able to win without KD. They can win now without KD. Does having KD make it a lot easier? Of course it does. But is it impossible to think that if the Warriors lost KD, there would be no shot that they could ever win a championship ever again? No, that's absurd. They'd still have a chance.
I just think that's
they'd still be in the mix.
So disrespectful, Chad.
It's not disrespectful. I'm not saying anything about KD. I'm just saying that if you take KD away, it's not like the Warriors chance. So basically, what you're saying is with KD, the Warriors have a 100% chance to win. Without KD, the Warriors have a 0% chance to win.
No, I'm not saying that.
It sort of sounds like by saying that I'm being disrespectful by saying they don't need KD.
Let me say this. If Durant leaves, wherever he goes, that team's winning the title. That's how good I think he is.
I would have to see the rest of the roster first. I would have to disagree.
I don't need to see the rest of the roster.
Okay, then
I think
I feel like I know the answer to this, but then why if the rest of the roster doesn't matter, why didn't he win 100 championships with the Thunder?
Let me pause. It matters if he doesn't play with that fucking cancer Westbrook. Look, the amount of disrespect that Durant gets. This guy had to deal with that cancer Westbrook, who you can't win with at all. We have seen that the past how many years? Paul George is now in Oklahoma City. They still have pretty much that exact same team, if not better. They've added Schroeder. They got Steven Adams, who's in his prime. They got other guys, and they can't win a lick in the playoffs.
They are who we thought they were.
Durant carried that team to 2 finals, had this Warriors team on the ropes with a guy who flat out can't win. You can't win with Westbrook. You give Durant anything, that team's... Let's say he goes to the Knicks and it's him and Kyrie and one other guy who's okay, that team wins the title.
Look, all I'm saying is if you're the Warriors and having KD on your team gives you an 85% chance to win the NBA championship, if you take KD away, you have a 65% chance to win.
No. It goes from 100 to 55.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
All right.
I would agree there, but my point is 55% is still a good-ass chance. What my point is that
But that's also assuming he's not in the league either. That's also assuming he doesn't have his own team.
No, I don't agree with that. I won't agree with that part of it. What you said before I was on board with. I won't agree with that part you just said. I agreed with everything up to that.
Give him his own team, those odds go down.
My point is, I think that people are sitting there and they took KD away and they acted like the Warriors were just completely inept without him. Like I haven't seen one person do that. I've been hearing that all week. As soon as the Rockets, as soon as it came out that KD wasn't playing in Game 6 against the Rockets, it was, oh, the Rockets are gonna win. The Rockets are gonna win. The Warriors couldn't possibly win a game without KD.
I didn't see that.
I saw it.
All right.
It's all over the place. Too busy watching hockey. You don't know.
It's good. I don't need to hear nonsense like that.
Anything else, Trey?
No, I've had enough screaming for today.
All right, well, that'll wrap it up. Don't forget to follow me at Chad Bauman. No, that's not it at all.
Are you stupid or something?
Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Lowfooted, LILFOOTED. Follow Trey at Trey Daubert, TREYDAUBERT. Check out our page as well, Vendetta_media, and check out the Facebook page as well. Give that a like, VendettaSportsMedia.com. Thanks for giving us a listen, and we'll see you next week.